There's a new type of website which enables people to raise money to help them fight court cases. It could be a game changer, apparently, when it comes to planning disputes. That is according to one of the most senior environmental planning barristers in England and Wales. The website is called Crowd Justice. It's all about crowdsourcing, you'll recognise that, and its founders say it is the first of its kind. More could follow. Our reporter Dan Whitworth has been to Lancashire to find out how it's working for one of the first groups of people to use it.
Whitemoss landfill site on the outskirts of Skelmersdale isn't exactly pretty. But then nor is the vital role it performs of taking hazardous waste from building developments and construction projects right across the northwest of England and beyond.
I'm Rob Routledge, Managing Director of Whitemoss Landfill Limited. The existing site is about 20 acres, and over the 20 years that we've been operating the site, by the time it's filled, it will have taken about 1.5 million tonnes.
And how big is the extension that you would like to build?
It's about twice that size, and it would give, over the 20-year period, about 3 million tonnes.
Rob's already had those plans approved by the government, which has classified the scheme as an NSIP, or Nationally Significant Infrastructure Project. But people living nearby aren't happy and are fighting that decision. Nothing surprising there, you might think. But what is different is that they're raising funds to help pay for their legal fight through a new crowdfunding website, and so opening up their campaign to support from way beyond those places directly affected by the scheme.
The problem is that through crowdfunding and through social media, it's like a force multiplier. You've got maybe 50 people, but they can appear to be 1,000 people. Something that would have otherwise been dealt with in a relatively reasonable timescale is dragged on.
A couple of miles away from the diggers and the bulldozers might not sound a lot, but this quiet housing estate does make it seem a world away. Hello,
Hi,
Claire.
Dan. Yes,
Hi.
hello, Dan.
How are you doing?
Come in.
Thank
We're
you.
in the back.
Lovely. Claire Robinson, Joanne Taylor and Diane Roberts are part of a local campaign group fighting plans to expand the landfill site. What's it like living nearby?
Primarily is the smell. We do get the smell quite a bit. It's known as the skempong, which everybody knows in the community, which is why we've had such strong opposition to it from the community.
I think as well is the view. It used to be you could see towards the Beacon Country Park, which is obviously an historical place.
How big an impact do you think this online crowdfunding could have for your fight against the extension of this landfill site?
We will get enough money to fight it. We'll get enough money for the barristers, and that makes all the difference, because there's no way we could fight it otherwise without that cash.
200 miles south in the centre of London finds us in the heart of the legal world for England and Wales. It's where Morag Ellis QC, one of the country's most senior planning barristers, is based.
I'm the chairman of the Planning and Environment Bar Association, and I specialise in planning and environmental law.
How significant do you think this type of crowdfunding website for legal disputes could be, especially with a view to planning disputes?
Environmental law has become much more open to people. It's been democratised, really coinciding with the rise of the internet.
What kind of problems do you think could arise from this type of website?
Well, it's arisen obviously in a totally spontaneous and unregulated manner, which isn't necessarily a bad thing in itself, and yet interest amongst the public in environmental law and environmental campaigns, I would say, is just increasing exponentially. And so to that extent, I would bet, if I were putting money on it, which I'm not a betting person, I would expect it still to be around in some form in a few years' time.
And by definition becoming more popular because it's only just starting now?
Yes, and as I say, I think the demand for environmental litigation isn't going to go away.